Alright, so this is another video in the series that's all about writing conceptual essays, about planning and composing them. So we're looking at paragraph structure and how to use the conceptual essay planner to plan your essay response. So while you might be good at writing in general and can easily compose a teal paragraph on any given topic, a really great essay, and this is no matter what subject, needs a clear argument, which is not always easy to do. However, you can use structure to help scaffold your argument. So if you look closely at a well-structured essay, you'll see that certain keywords tie all of the ideas together, making it easy for the reader to follow. In the example that's on the screen, you'll see that you've got evil showing up a number of times throughout the paragraph. Likewise, you've got all of the words related to corruption in green showing up throughout the paragraph, and all of the words in red showing up throughout the paragraph that are related to danger. And these words create a logical argument by creating a thread that runs through each paragraph, moving from one concept to another. So we're going to use keywords to tie all the ideas together and create a really strong argument. But to make that happen, you need to plan, and that's what we're looking at in this video. So there's a lot of information that you need to include in a good essay. So it's good to make sure that you have everything you need before you start. Writing a strong essay is a bit like baking. So before you start baking, you need to make sure you have all the ingredients. Otherwise, you might get halfway through, realize that you're missing an ingredient like eggs, and then you either have to start again or make the cake without the eggs, which probably won't be very effective. So that's where this plan comes in. It might seem a bit overwhelming at first, but it's a way to ensure you have all the ingredients before you start. And once you've used it a few times, you'll see that that's really helpful, making sure that you have basically an ingredients list before you start. Alright, so let's look at those basic ingredients. We can start by adding the question and identifying the question keyword. For this kind of essay, we're focusing on concepts, so we need a noun. Okay, in this question, how do the Brothers Grimm represent evil in Little Red Riding Hood? Okay, the concept is evil. So you can see that highlighted in blue. So we can add that to that first line of our basic plan, okay, of our ingredients. You can see there's space for both the question, which is sometimes a stimulus statement, and the question keyword. So we can use Q keyword or QK for short. Alright, so just pop in evil there. Next, we add our thesis and thesis keyword. And your thesis is something you should have developed in class before you even get to this point of planning. There's some other videos that sort of help to explain what a thesis is. Okay, so our thesis is all fairy tales warn children of real danger. So you can see that our thesis keyword is danger, and that's in red. So again, we put both of those into our planner. You can see next to thesis, all fairy tales warn children of real danger, and our T keyword, or TK, is danger. Finally, you need to work out which concepts you want to talk about. Now, the concepts that you're going to use in an essay can't be the same as the ones that you've got in either the question or the thesis. And that's just because you tend to go around in circles if you're using those same concepts all the time. So for a 3-paragraph essay, it's a good idea to have 3 more concepts, in addition to your question concept or your question keyword and your thesis concept or your thesis keyword. Alright, so here you can see I've got 3, one for each body paragraph. I've got corruption, hope, and innocence. And again, you'll start to notice that I'm using this color coding. So we can pop those. You can see the green corruption goes into concept 1, which is green. Then we've got concept 2 is hope, and concept 3 is innocence. So again, we add those to our planner, and that still leaves a few more spaces. You've got the first 3 spaces just after your thesis keyword or T keyword, TK. And these are about the text. It's all under the heading of text information. And so you've got the title, the composer, and the form. This is pretty obvious stuff that you need to have, but it's As we said before, you want to make sure that you've got all of those details before you start writing, especially when a composer might have a name with a strange spelling, or the title might be a little bit easy to mix up with another one. It's good to have them there ready so that when you start writing, you've got all of that information. You don't have to go looking for it. So you just need to put in the title, then the composer's name, and the type of text or form. So for example, it might be a novel or a poem. It's best if you can be as specific as you can. So in this example, you can see that I've put down fairy tale because that's a particular form of narrative. So you can see I'm using the story Little Red Riding Hood, and the composer is the Brothers Grimm. The last blank space is called the text statement. In simple terms, this is just a brief sentence that says something about the composer's purpose. In this one, we've said that the Grimm brothers' purpose in writing or recording these stories was to explore aspects of human nature. This text statement is pretty broad, but again, the more specific the better. For what we're doing in this video, it's a little bit easier if I've got a nice simple one to show you how this all works. Alright, so once we've got the basic information all together in that one place, we can start planning the different parts of the essay. And so because we're working with keywords to help our argument, that's what we will start with. So you can see you've got that table already filled out that's got all of that basic information, the basic ingredients. And then just below that, you've got another table for the introduction, one for the conclusion, and then 3 tables on the right, one for each paragraph. You'll notice it's all color-coded to help you know where the different parts go. That'll make more sense as we go through. Alright, so first we plan our introduction. So we use all the information in that first table to fill in the blank spaces in the introduction table. So we begin by responding to the question. We then introduce the text, and then we provide our thesis. You will need to expand on all of this to write a proper introduction. But when you're just doing a plan, you just need those basic elements, those basic ingredients, so that you can keep referring back to them. And the same then goes for the conclusion. Alright, so you've got all the information you need in that very first table. Alright, so now we're going to have a look at the individual paragraphs. So that's where you build your argument. They're on the right there. So you can see that I've got 3 tables, one for each paragraph, and I've got 3 concepts. So they're corruption, hope, and innocence. This is where you build your argument, and this structure is going to help you do that if you include all of these elements. And just like baking a cake, it's really important to make sure you have every single element, because you might think that one ingredient might not be important, but it could be the key ingredient that makes the cake rise or that makes the cake taste really delicious. We start with the question keyword. That's in blue in the planning table, so we just copy that keyword into all of the blue spaces in the paragraphs. They are labelled Q keyword. There's one per paragraph, and it's always at the start of the paragraph because it will form the concept statement. And that concept statement then will always link or address the question. The same goes for our thesis keyword, which is red. So you copy that to all of the red boxes, one per paragraph again. It goes at the end of each paragraph to create the link to your thesis, in the same way that the question keyword creates the link to your question. Next, we have the paragraph concepts, one again for each paragraph. The first one is in green, and that goes in 2 places in the first paragraph, at the beginning and the end. That's because the paragraph concept creates the link between the question and your thesis. At the very beginning of this video, we showed that thread that runs between all of the concepts. And this is how you do it with that paragraph concept. Alright, so the same goes for the second concept, which is in purple. You put the concept into each of the purple spaces, one at the beginning and one at the end of the paragraph. And last, you do the same for the third concept, in orange, at the beginning and end of the third paragraph. So now we have the basic structure for a solid argument that addresses the question and establishes a thesis. The next step is to get our textual evidence. Once we have that, we're ready to compose our essay. So the next video goes through how to use this same plan to write your paragraphs. Enjoy your planning.